What's up, y'all? And welcome back to another episode of Dad Needs to Talk. I'm your host, Robert, aka Father of Vash. And today, I'm going to be talking about some very awesome surprises for fall anime, Battlefield 2042, and Squid Game. Let's get to it. All right. What's up, y'all? Welcome back. As always, if this is your first time here, welcome. But if you've been rocking with me for a while, then welcome back. We are back to our regularly scheduled programming. Man, it feels a lot longer than what it actually has been for me recording a podcast, because but before I get into all of that, y'all know the business. If you are not already, make sure you are subscribed to the podcast, both on whatever streaming service that you choose, as well as on the YouTube channel, Dad Needs to Talk, so that you can get notified of whether I upload something in the podcast feed or if I upload a new video on YouTube. Whatever the case is, show your boy some love, give me a follow, subscribe, all that fun jazz. So, I don't even know where to start, to be honest with y'all, because technically I didn't miss a week, but last week was kind of a little bit of a different thing because, I had, once again, I'll give a shout out to my boy Steve, who came on and did that awesome episode with me last week where I got to both interview him as well as talk about BoJack Horseman. So I hope you all enjoyed that episode and things of that nature. It was very fun to do, and I look forward to doing more collaborations with more people in the coming future. So have other stuff planned and in the works. Just got to get stuff scheduled out and coordinate with people. But just know that, hey, if you enjoy that or enjoyed me having somebody else on the show, then there will be more of that coming, and it'll be a mix of some just being just straight up interviews, some where we're just kind of just having a casual conversation, so on and so forth. Like I have some ideas in my head and some people I already reached out to, so be on the lookout for that stuff coming up. But yeah, like I said, it's just been a whirlwind of I feel like last couple of weeks, because like I said, that recorded with Steve, it wasn't even that off schedule. It was like the day before I normally record. But I think just because of the fact that I didn't do my normal Sunday routine of, or the weekly routine of like talking about the chapters of the week and all that stuff, it just feels even longer than what it actually has been. But in general, I guess I just a little bit of housekeeping. Be on the lookout for some videos and stuff, because let me see, because since the last time I did the main podcast episode, real quick, let me double check and see. Okay, I haven't put it up yet, so okay, never mind. I do have a manga review coming up, I think later this week. So I had read and recorded, since the last time I did like the usual episodes or whatever. I had read and recorded a review for a manga series called I Am a Hero. And that series, it is I'm pretty sure, I did touch on it a little bit last week, but basically it is a zombie manga, like a action psychological thriller zombie series where the main character is a 35-year-old manga artist assistant, and he's dealing with a zombie outbreak. So I read it, super enjoyed it. And like I said, I've already recorded my review for it. I just kind of was sitting on it, just trying to figure out, okay, when the best time for me to release it. But I think I might do it this week. Because I already went ahead and I purchased volume 2. And let me grab it real quick, show y'all, because I went ahead, treated myself. I'm not the wealthiest person in the world, but I can spare a few bucks every now and then to, because honestly, for me, and I've talked about this before, but reading manga has kind of turned into a therapeutic thing for me. Even when some of the series I'm reading is a bit stressful, but so I went ahead and I picked up volume 2 or omnibus 2 of I Am a Hero. So I'm excited to dive into that. And then I picked up this new one, or at least it's new here in the U.S. It's a isekai called Karate Survivor in Another World. Now, this one, basically, the general premise of it is, I guess I'll just read the back of it. No magic, no cheats, only karate. Suddenly, I was dead. Then some half-assed deity performed a half ritual that sent me deep into a wild forest. I've got no magic, no cheats. The only thing I can rely on are my wits and my karate. All that's left is to fend for myself in this harsh, unforgiving new world. So, yeah, I picked that up. I'm excited to read that and at least just see what it's about, because, I always like checking out new stuff. And it's a series, like I said, like that volume just came out like a couple weeks ago. And so it kind of been on my mind a little bit here and there, because every time I would go, I would look, I'm like, But I'm like, no, Robert, you already got enough to read, so on and so forth. But one thing, and I've kind of touched on this before, but I want to kind of go with my gut, and I feel like I've been doing that pretty well since I've been doing the podcast and content creation in general. But I want to continue to do that, just because, sometimes it's like, what, I want to, like I might have stuff scheduled or supposedly planned out to read or watch or whatever. But sometimes, you just get in certain moods of like, what, forget everything else I had scheduled. I want to read this. Because honestly, that's what happened with I Am a Hero. Because honestly, I was not planning on reading that series until after I had finished 20th Century Boys. Because I'm like, okay, Robert, you need to buckle down and finish it. But at the same time, it's like, I also need to be lax with myself to where it's like, no, even like, yes, I am loving 20th Century Boys, because I just finished volume 5 the other day, so I got to record that as well. But I just finished volume 5, and it's like, yes, I could go and jump into the next one, but just that day and time, I was like, you know what, I'm in the mood for it, so let's try out I Am a Hero. And I blazed through that sucker in a couple of days. So, and it's like 20 something chapters in that one omnibus. So, because you saw how thick the second one was. But yeah, I just want to continue to do that. Whether it is, picking up something new that interests me, or talking about a new anime, which I have one later on in the show I'm excited to talk about, called Sakugan. But yeah, I just want to continue to just like be somewhat flexible, and just kind of like when I feel inspired to either talk about something, to pick up something or whatever, I want to do it. Because especially when it's like new stuff like this, because like I've talked about before, it's like, yes, I love talking about my hero and One Piece and all that stuff, every week or whatever, but there's a million people talking about One Piece, there's a million people talking about my hero and all that stuff. And so I kind of want to, of course, like I said, like share my love for those series, those big series or whatever that everybody talks about or whatever. But I also want to use my platform, my voice, to spotlight and highlight smaller series, newer series, everything in between that, like I said, a lot of people might not be aware of, or just, people might be aware of, but just maybe specifically those of you that are listening to me or seeing me might not be aware of, because it's like yes, I'm pretty sure there's people out there that have heard of I Am a Hero, but there's also tons of people that haven't, or kind of like me, to where it's like okay, I've seen it up on the shelf when I go to the store every now and then, but I never actually like paused it, read what the synopsis is, talk to other people, see what their opinions of it. It's just like, oh, okay, that thing you always see in passing, until somebody that you talk to, that you follow, whatever, is like, oh yeah, I read that thing, or I watched that show, and then it's like, oh, okay, if they talked about it or they enjoyed it, maybe I'll give it a shot too. And that's kind of what I want to do as well. Like I said, just to continue to help broaden everyone's horizons, because like I've mentioned before, that's something that I've loved about being in this community, is just following and getting to meet people that have a wide variety, a wide palette of taste that they have, because it's like we all have like our genres or our little bubbles that we love to be in, but there's like so much stuff out there to read, to watch, to play, to experience. And so I want to do my part to bring that to y'all, or bring that to anybody that might happen to come across my podcast, my channel, whatever the case is. So that's why I went ahead and I picked up Lone Survivor, or Karate Survivor, because like I said, it's something new. See, so be on the lookout for that in the coming weeks. But yeah, so enough on housekeeping stuff. So what has Robert been up to lately? So honestly, I've been real with y'all, I am drained a bit. I will say, more than likely, probably sometime in the coming month, I might end up taking a week off. Maybe, y'all might not even notice, because more than likely I'll probably just record something ahead of time and just sit on it and then release it later. But I think I'm kind of due for at least like a little break, like I said, even if it's just like a week or something, just because like life, because these last couple of weeks in general have just been pretty hectic, pretty busy. I've been on super dad duty lately, with just a lot of stuff, whatever, because let me see, not so much the previous weekend, but this past weekend that just passed, whatever, like my wife, she was out of town for a couple of days, so I was on full dad duty. So the usual stuff. Make sure they're eating, they're breathing. Having to do 2-3 basketball games, all that stuff. So lots of driving around. So doing that, on top of I had went out to my sister's house, or to visit my sister's family, I should say, this weekend, and that was my first time getting to see a lot of them in person since earlier this year, when we were all kind of together, after my mother had passed. I hadn't seen any of them in person. We've spoken on the phone, message, text, all that stuff, whatever, but I haven't been over to their house since earlier this year. And so it was just like very long overdue, just because it's like, so much stuff has changed and happened in these months, since the last time I went over there, because it's like they've moved to a new place. Like my sister's two oldest kids, my niece and nephew, they both have their own individual places and stuff now. So it's like I kind of had a kind of like a cool yet surreal moment of like, man, I went to my niece's apartment. It's like her first place of her own, and it was just kind of weird of like, man, like, I feel like it was just yesterday you were a little baby. I was hugging and kissing on, and now it's like you're a freaking whole adult out here, working, got a job, going to college, got your own place. And so I went out there. I took Vash with me. We went, saw her place, visited for a little bit Saturday, and then Sunday went to the new place my brother-in-law had moved into. Very beautiful home. Lots of new dogs. They've gotten a couple of new dogs and stuff too. So they have 4 total. So going from very tiny to very big. So me and Vasha went over there yesterday or last night and just visited. Brother-in-law cooked us an awesome meal. Anytime over the years I've gone over to my sister's house, they always feed me good. And it was just really nice just getting a chance to just be with family, catch up with my nieces and nephews and seeing how they're all doing, and stuff. And I know some of them. I know the oldest one. I know he listens to the podcast sometimes. So, hello, hey Isaiah. Uncle Rob loves y'all. Was glad to see those of y'all that I did get to see and stuff. But that's like been like my busy last week, just life. Like I said, it's just been hectic, draining sometimes. But it is what it is. It's life. I'm kind of on the countdown towards the end of the year because the end of this year, like basically things is going to change one way or another by either the end of this year or beginning of next year, because I'm pretty sure I might have mentioned it before, but if not, so my current job, I've been on location for a little over a year now, because I started August of last year. So year and a month or so I've been there, but I've been there as a contractor these couple years, or this year or whatever, which is cool. Hey, hey, I'm very, very glad and fortunate to be working, period. But things are kind of getting to a point where it's like, okay, I'm able to live, to survive, but I don't want to just survive. I want to be able to live comfortably and then have flexibility to build and grow, because you can't really build and grow if you're just like always just barely skating across that bare minimum line and stuff. And so basically, so my contract was originally 6 months, so obviously they got extended because that was from August to like February or so, and so that got extended to the end of this year. Now, what does the end of this year mean? Do not know, because because it wasn't like they was like, oh yes, December 31st or whatever. It was just like, yes, till the end of the year. Now that could mean literally like, okay, like the last Friday of 2021 is the end of the contract, or it could be one of those things where it's like, okay, technically it's the beginning of next year's when it ends. Who knows? But if, and fingers crossed, hope and pray for your boy, but fingers crossed, if things work out good and I can get brought on full time permanently there, then that's gonna be a whole new ball game. As far as like, because like I said, like I like what I do because it's super chill, pretty flexible and stuff. Pretty straightforward. It kind of gives me, like I said, flexibility to do what I do with with the IT career, but also to be able to do a lot of stuff with the podcast, because I have some flexible time there, I guess is what I'll call it, to kind of work on this stuff a little bit, while taking care of business there. And so I'd love to continue to do that while also being able to live comfortably. But it's more or less just going to be like, okay, when it gets to the end of the year, it's going to be either they're going to renew me, or they're going to like, okay, cool, welcome aboard full time, or who knows, because it's like honestly, I can't keep going on, like, oh, well, we're going to extend the contract another 6 months, because it's like, okay, I can't keep doing that, because I know, I've worked contract work before, whatever, but back when I did that, I didn't have as big of a family. Shoot, at some points I didn't even have like a family that I was responsible for at the time during some of those past contracts, whatever. So yeah, so I was cool back then. Just, oh yeah, sure, just keep extending it or whatever. I don't have too much stuff going on. Versus now, it's like, okay, I got a whole family, wife, 5 kids. They not getting any smaller. They're not getting any cheaper to take care of. 4 of the 5 are in sports. Probably next fall, Vash will be big enough to start doing sports himself. He'll be going to school. It's just a lot of stuff going on, and need money to do that or whatever. And so we'll see. But like I said, just send some positive vibes to your boy that hopefully by the end of this year, things will be looking up. You'll definitely know, because if they bring me on full time and that check skyrocket, man, just know, hey, one of the first manga haul I do of 2022, it's gonna be like 60 new volumes for January. Be buying whole collections of everything, but anywho, so I guess we'll kind of just keep rolling on right into the show proper. I don't think I have any news that I can think of to really talk about this week, so we'll just kind of just dive into some stuff. I want to kind of just touch on a little bit of some gaming stuff. So, but I guess before I talk about the game I played a little bit over the weekend, heads up that those of you that are fans of the Left 4 Dead series, the spiritual successor to that series called Back 4 Blood, made by the same people who created Left 4 Dead, is going to be coming out, or it will be out by the time you see this podcast, because it's coming out October 12th. And so, while I probably might not play it too much myself, because I don't really care for those type of games, but I know for sure my wife and her squad, she just pre-installed it a while ago, so I know her and her crew are excited to hop into it and play it. My oldest son, he pre-installed it and stuff as well, because aside from it coming out, just a heads up, it's going to be on Game Pass on Xbox. So if you're on Xbox and you got Game Pass, hey, awesome new game to look forward to this week. So, but yeah, I just want to just give that a quick shout. As well as, I'll also mention, those of you on the Nintendo Switch, I know last week the what's it called, Metroid Dread came out. Not really a big fan of the Metroid series or whatever, but just putting that out there on y'all's radar, just knowing like, hey, a new Metroid game is out on the Switch, as well as a new model of the Switch, the OLED model. I don't really care. Honestly, I'm probably not going to buy another Switch until there's like a substantially upgraded model of one, which those rumors have been floating around for a long time. We'll see, but for now, my Switch is fine. I barely play it as is. Vash plays it more than I do, but yeah. But moving on to what I actually got to play this week, I got to play the demo for, let me make sure I'm getting the right name, Battlefield, was it 2042? Yeah, Battlefield 2042. They had did a open beta this weekend, or this past weekend, for the game. So, like, hey, it's free to download. So I downloaded it and I played maybe like 30 minutes or so, whatever. Honestly, I would have loved to have played more of it, but like I said, I just had a very busy, hectic weekend where I was in and out the house a lot over the weekend. So I was very grateful to be able to play the bit that I did get to play, which I think I played that Friday night at that. So, but I'm very happy I got to play a little bit what I got to play, just because it was like, it just felt good playing freaking Battlefield again, because, I don't play too many multiplayer games and stuff nowadays anymore. I haven't really in many years. That's kind of more of my wife's forte at this point. But Battlefield was a series that I was so in love with. I fell in love with Battlefield back when I was in college, and with Battlefield Bad Company 2, because I ended up just picking it up just on a whim, played it, fell in love with it because I had never played Battlefield before then, And like the story mode on that was freaking awesome. Love the Battlefield Bad Company 2 story mode. And the multiplayer was, for me, at that point in time, I had never played nothing like that, to where it was like fully destructible environments. It was so awesome. I freaking love that game. Just the fact of like you start off the map with all these buildings and stuff up or whatever, and like in that one, you can completely just like flatten the whole level, or like you freaking shoot a tank at a building, it's crumbling, breaking down or whatever, and by the end of the match, it's like it could be like a whole city just leveled. But anywho, fell in love with it, loved that. Played the hell out of Battlefield 3 back in college as well. And then played a little bit of 4. And I think Battlefield 1 is probably the last one that I really like gave like actual time to. And even then, it wasn't nowhere near the degree of time that I put into Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3. Because those games I dumped so many hours into. But anywho, Battlefield 2042. So I played it on PS5. So, that means I got the full scale of it, to where it was the, how many players is it? I think it was 100 and, hold on, let me see real quick. Hold on, let me look that up. Okay, yeah, it was 128 players. So 64 players on each team. So yeah, and those of you that know like Battlefield, like the maps are freaking humongous, which I love, because it's just like it just felt so awesome. Like I said, just after all these years, just being back in one of those matches and just spawning in and just looking around at the beauty of like how beautiful the game looked. Tanks rolling over the hills, jets and helicopters flying above head, people speeding by on motorcycles or doom buggies or whatever else. And then I'm just, as I love to do, whatever, especially like if I'm not purposely on with the squad, I'll just kind of go off and do my own thing and kind of like find my own little route to one of the objectives and stuff. But it was awesome. It was super fun. I'm probably not gonna pick it up, to be honest with you. Whatever, I would love to, whatever, but I don't really have $70 to just to dump on that right now. Like I said, especially because I know I probably wouldn't put too much time into it. Who knows, maybe, but I just don't see myself putting too much time into a multiplayer game like that at this current point in time. But just I just wanted to give Battlefield a quick shout out though, because like I say, it felt really good to be back in it or whatever. Looked really good. So who knows? Who knows? Maybe my tone will change, or maybe I'll get it for Christmas or something. But yeah, but that's pretty much all I got to play this week. I'm hoping that this coming weekend I really want to sit down and finish up Life is Strange True Colors, because man, I had so much momentum that first weekend. I got to play 3 of the 5 chapters, and then life happened these last 2 weekends. I didn't get to touch it at all, which I'm very sad about. But hopefully, I'll kind of get to rectify that this coming weekend. So we'll see. But let's go ahead and just roll right along. And I'm going to switch things up this week. We're going to talk about some manga first, just because I watched way more than I read at least like these last few days or whatever. So I'm going to save the watching stuff for the second part. So reading wise, so let's just freaking dive into, I'm only going to talk about a few series today manga wise, but let's freaking dive into freaking My Hero Academia. We're going to talk about chapters 328 and 329. So obviously the big thing that happened in these chapters, aside from like 328, we started off with getting a flashback to when Stain was breaking out of Tartarus prison, and just kind of seeing how that went from his point of view, and how he ended up getting his hands on the intel that he got his hands on. And so that was just really cool and really interesting for him to, like I said, for us to just to get that flashback to to Stain getting his hands on the information and getting it to to All Might like he did the previous chapter. But where things really started to pick up and heat up, whatever, was when we started getting a look at basically like the international heroes. So we got to see who was it? A couple of heroes. Salam, who looks like he's the hero of probably like Egypt or maybe Africa, and then a lion-looking dude, named a Big Red Dot. But anywho, the star, literally, of these international heroes is freaking All Might's, one of All Might's students, the number one hero from the United States of America, Star and Stripe. And her design looks so freaking cool. She kind of has kind of like the chiseled jaw, like All Might, and like the cool looking hair. But yeah, she just looks real beastly. But yeah, just like her showing up, just freaking standing on top of like a stealth jet thing that's like flying over. She just looks so cool. And then fast forwarding to freaking to this week's chapter, whatever. I love like the cover of this one because it's just her standing there, kind of like posed up with her freaking cape flowing behind her, and so we kind of get some dialogue from All For One as he's talking with Spinner and just explaining like how, his planning and stuff, whatever, how he's basically like planning for the next phase of their thing. And basically it seems like, for one, we get confirmation that Star, she is the strongest woman in the world. And so basically we learn, this All For One is talking about how he has friends all around the world, and he's talking about how All Might have eradicated organized crime here in Japan, but other nations are a different story. And then he said, once those friends of mine start stirring up trouble, each country will have to weigh its own priorities against the needs of others. And so basically, All For One, he's gambling on trying to get his hands on Star's quirk, whatever it is. But he's like, she will prove far more than a mere nuisance. But should I manage to steal her quirk, the rest of the war will just be a formality. So, yeah. And so we kind of see just like getting another look at some more of just like the Liberation Army, leftover people and stuff. We get a glance at Toga walking around. We see Dobby and, like I said, Spinner and stuff. And then we see once Tamura Shigaraki has destroyed all, we shall sow the seeds of the future. And then we kind of cut over to seeing, Hawks, Genus, and Endeavor. They're making their way over to greet Star, because she's coming in super quick. Because I don't know what to say. A report just came in along her flight path. Oh yeah, and this is basically freaking Shigaraki showed up. So we knew he was coming back into the picture soon, but I did not think it would be literally the next freaking chapter. And so Shigaraki shows up freaking with the Chuck Taylor still on. Just standing on top of a freaking flying Nomu to meet Star. And so, of course, Star doesn't know who he is. She's just like, such a warm welcome before I've even arrived. You're here, you're that free to do as you please. And she's like, are you the villain they call All For One? And then Shigaraki's just like, good question. What exactly am I? So, I'm very fearful of this, because we get like a shot of his hand with the freaking Naruto healing jutsu thing in the palm of his hand. But I know that's not the thing he uses to like steal quirks and stuff. So I'm very nervous because like it would freaking suck to like, okay, we finally start to learn and see some international heroes, and especially one of them not only being All Might's one of All Might's students, but being the strongest hero in America and the strongest woman in the world. It would freaking suck if she just gets taken out like before she even sets foot in the country. That would suck because I would love for her to meet Deku. Cause I just know like how obviously we know how much of a freaking All Might fanboy Deku is. For him to get a chance to meet one of All Might's students and to be able to talk to her would be super cool. As well as I would love for her and All Might to be able to reunite, because I ain't no telling how long it's been since the last time she saw him. But that would be freaking awesome, you know, if they could get to reconnect. But I am very fearful that will not happen. Honestly, and I don't want this to happen, but part of me is afraid because we know that Sir Night-Eye had that vision that All Might would die a very brutal death. Part of me fears that somehow, I don't know how, but somehow Star is going to be in trouble. And right when Shigaraki is about to kill her, steal her quirk, whatever, somehow, because you know, All Might can transform for like literally like a second. Then maybe All Might, for 1 second, zooms in, pushes her out the way. Shigaraki touches All Might. He disintegrates and crumbles into dust. And that is how All Might bites the dust. So I'm afraid of that. But I could very much see that coming because, hey, we saw freaking, you know, some other heroes and stuff died during the last war. So, like I said, I don't want it to happen, but like I said, I would not be surprised if it does happen, you know. So we shall see, you know, which way the wind blows with that one. But but yeah, so let's kind of just keep moving right along. Let's talk about some One Piece. So manga chapters 1027 and 1028. So first of all, on 1027, I love the cover of that one because it's just freaking Gold Roger, you know, getting chased by a lion after he drew on his face, and we see freaking young Shanks and Buggy up in the tree, crying their eyes out. But that chapter was, I'm trying to remember. Sorry, because it's been like a few weeks since this chapter. Okay. Alright, yeah. This was the chapter where Yamato and Momo had kind of flew off of the island, and basically Yamato was trying to explain to Momo like, hey, you need to be able to create your own flame clouds to float the island up, because if it lands, then basically it's going to kill a lot of people. There's explosives on the island that will detonate all that stuff just from the impact. So that part was going on. Luffy and Kaido still clashing. And then we freaking got some cool scenes between Zoro and King still fighting, as we get to see King's hybrid form, which looked pretty cool, as he's like knocking Zoro back a little bit, and Frankie ends up catching Zoro at one point. But Zoro ends up landing a pretty big blow to King, because he like broke off like one of his little horns on his mask, as well as like ripped like part of his mask off of his face. But cause there was a part where they both like clashed attacks. Where was it? Okay, yeah. This clash of this King using Imperial Archer and Zoro using a three sword style Ultra Tiger Hunt. But yeah, it just looks so freaking just cool. And then we get to see, like I said, like a tiny bit of King's, like the top of King's face and his hair. And so very excited, very curious to see and learn more of King. I think a lot of us was expecting and hoping that it would have been this chapter, but no, chapter 1028 was actually a freaking a Sanji chapter. And real quick, because I gotta show y'all this freaking color page. All right, just real quick, like this color page right here. Honestly, I think it's probably like one of my favorite color pages of the series, if not my favorite, because obviously y'all know how much I freaking love video games, but just seeing what is essentially like a One Piece version of Smash Brothers, where you got freaking Zoro as Link and Jinbei as Mario, aka Jumpman, Frankie as Donkey Kong. Shoot, I can't think of mine's going blank, but Luffy as Ken, and of course I love Nami and Usopp with their game controllers and Game Gear. Looks so freaking cool. And I don't know, Sanji. I think he might be supposed to be not either Samus, maybe because he got the blaster. But anywho, it's just a super cool freaking cover page. So like I said, very beautiful. Honestly, I would love to someday maybe get to have that as a poster. But so this chapter, man. So 1028 we have a moment where or pretty much the chapter starts off with some CP0 stuff, where we have basically the CP0 people on Wano talking to Rob Bellucci and his crew, wherever they are, about basically like, hey, like what's going on Wano with, okay, there's another dragon that showed up, all this stuff. And basically they're basically planning to take over Wano. They're like, okay, in the event of worst case scenario, if Kaido happens to fall and gets defeated here, then we will move in and put Wano under world government jurisdiction, basically, because they showed a little clip of they already have Navy ships already on their way to Wano. So, and then Rob Lucci made sure to point out, like, hey, above all else, capture and bring back Nico Robin. And so, yeah, so that part is freaking crazy. And I'm excited for that because it's already setting up the anticipation of the end of this arc. And just like what that potentially means for the bigger picture of the series, because it's like, okay, we're about to have potentially a encounter with the world government right after having to deal with, honestly, two emperors, because Big Mama's here too. But I am just like very curious to see like what is about to happen, just because, like I said, we have Navy coming in. There's a chance there might be an admiral with them. I really hope if it is that it's freaking Green Bull, so we can finally see what Green Bull looks like and learn more about that character, because it's like, man, tired of the teasers, tired of the silhouettes. But yeah, so that's very exciting. And I've also been thinking and seeing a lot of potential scenarios being brought up of maybe this might be where the Straw Hat Grand Fleet comes back into the picture to help them, because obviously everybody's gonna be tired. They just had to deal with two emperors. Primarily one, but still there's another one there. And so they're going to be tired and exhausted. And there was a moment back in Dressrosa after the Straw Hat Grand Fleet was first formed, where the narrator says that the Grand Fleet would basically be part of some large incident in the New World. Okay, I found it. So, and how could I forget? It was a big milestone chapter. Literally, it was chapter 800, Sun's Cup. So I'm gonna read word for word what the narrator says. So, and this is the image of, everybody, the Straw Hats, everybody, the Tentatas toasting the Grand Fleet. So the narrator says, Through the very odd practice of science cups and forces unexpected and out of their control, 7 odd and mighty warriors labeled themselves the followers of Straw Hat Luffy. After this moment, they will each grow in power until they eventually cause a great incident of historic proportions. But for the moment, that is a story no one knows about. No one yet knows about. So, chapter 800, so over 200 something chapters ago, we got that tease from the narrator. So, this might be the time. This might be the time. This might be the moment where the Grand Fleet comes back into the picture. So, we shall see how that plays out. But, moving on with this chapter. Let me see. It was, Momo was still just trying to figure out how to do the freaking clouds. We see Yamato turn into this very cute wolf. But the main attraction of this chapter, obviously, is freaking Sanji versus Queen continuing. And so Sanji, he's going in trying to let some blows, but of course Queen, his body is just so thick, the attacks aren't really working. And so basically some very weird stuff is happening to where, Queen is asking him, basically like, put on the raised suit. I want to see the legendary tech that your father made, yada, yada, yada. And probably one of the most bizarre moments in One Piece history. Because, by the way, the chapter is titled Brachiosnakis. So, Queen transforms back into his Brachiosaurus form. And he's like, dinosaurs ruled the world for hundreds of millions of years. Witness the raw power of the king. So he stretches out his neck and his tail. He basically slaps his tail against the building behind him and launches himself out of his torso. So Queen's torso is still there, but now just from his top of his head, neck to his tail, that's basically a snake body. It is so weird and freaky, man, for real. How he just like did that or whatever. But basically he's like crushing Sanji or whatever. But he ends up screwing himself because he has voice activated rockets. And so he's like, I equipped my torso with brachial launchers. If I call out their name, they'll shoot right at, and he gets hit because he said the name. And so basically he does that a couple times. Sanji gets freed. Sanji's body is all contorted and twisted and stuff. And apparently Sanji's bones and stuff got broken. But then shortly after, his body just healed. And so it's like, okay, it seems like Sanji is awakening some latent Vinsmoke ability or something or whatever. And so there's a moment where Queen comes up behind Sanji and just like sword to the back of head. Sanji doesn't feel nothing. Sword shatters into pieces. And yeah, that's where the chapter ends. But yeah, so Sanji's body is going through some type of crazy change, metamorphosis. But I'm here for it. I am down to see what crazy stuff is about to happen with that. So yeah, so One Piece, Zoro and Sanji both getting some back-to-back times to shine. So we'll see how that goes. And before I do that, let's also go over and talk about Hunter's Guild Red Hood chapter 14. So the main thing I kind of just want to talk about with this chapter is that, we kind of basically we kind of wrap up the exam more or less, because the last bit of their plan comes together to where they trap Debonair and like the little coal thing for the fortress, but basically last minute Tilty ends up coming to help them. So literally the last 5 minutes of the competition, he ends up coming to help them, whatever, and he tags everybody out of the cage, and everybody teams up, and they all end up going for the cuffs. And so, because they have so many people, whatever, they're able to overwhelm them with just pure numbers. And so, we just get like it's just like really cool shot of just like everybody coming in. Well, like this really cool double page spread of like them counting down, and Velu ends up grabbing the cuffs last second, and yeah, just get like a very awesome just victory thing at the end where it's like, number of robbers arrested 0. The 42nd final deprogation exam, all participants pass. So that is very awesome that this ended up, in that way to where everybody passed. So now I'm ready for hopefully things to kick into the next phase, because it's like, okay, I'm pretty sure maybe like next chapter will be them, them getting to the guild, and then us, kind of like, maybe some type of ceremony where they get maybe, because I don't know if they get some type of like something to identify that they are licensed hunters or whatever now, kind of like how like in Hunter x Hunter they have the hunter cards or whatever to signify like, okay, yes, I am a licensed person. So I'm pretty sure they'll get something like that. So hopefully, or maybe next chapter might just be like a celebration of sorts, of them just like celebrating like, yes, we won, so on and so forth. Hopefully, I don't know, but hopefully that is the case. But yeah, I'm just excited to see like where things kind of go from here. Now that they've passed the exam, so yeah, I'm just super excited to just see just more action, and just more of the greater world, because it's like, okay, of course now I'm pretty sure there's gonna be more characters, maybe even some more like potential big names who might kind of get to at least get a glance at with them going to the Hunters Guild thing or whatever. So yeah. And so last I just want to just give a quick shout out to freaking Dandadan. So I had caught up on the last couple chapters. It was what 26.1, 27, and 28. Because 26.1 was a one shot chapter where the thing that they were fighting, it was this monkey looking alien thing that his power was these like soda cans that he had everywhere, and basically if you get touched by the can, you get turned into a soda can. So it was super weird, super funny and wacky, as all the Dandadan stuff has been. But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to shout that out. And then like the second chapter, I did love in the one shot how Okarun, how he had gave her ISA a copy of Go-Go 13, or like a special edition like DVD or whatever, because the author of that series Go-Go 13 passed away a couple weeks ago, unfortunately. And so I feel like that was a pretty cool, just like little homage to put in there in honor of the author and stuff. So, but yeah, Dan, like I said, both of those chapters, or all those chapters, were just pretty wild and stuff, because the solution for the second one with the little I don't even know what this dude is, like a shrimp alien thing, whatever. He basically he was basically trying to tell him like, hey, okay, he needs some type of way to make money so that he can buy or get like a blood transfusion or whatever for his son. Kind of find out that their blood is basically the same as like cow milk. So ISA's grandmother hook him up with a farmer and they get him a cow, and he takes the cow to outer space with him. And so it's just so funny, just like looking at this panel of this really cool high-tech spaceship sucking up this tractor beam cow up into the freaking spaceship and then flying off to space. it is just so funny just to see all that stuff. And the last little bit or whatever was just like one of ISA's like childhood friends slash crush or whatever. He is going to be moving in with them, and then we find out at the end of the chapter is because he has been seeing spirits and stuff, and so that's gonna be our next mission, I guess, our next little mini arc, It's just them going to help him deal with whatever this spirit or these spirits are that are haunting his house and his family and stuff. So, but yeah, but super excited for that. Like I said, Dandadan is always a a fun and wild time. But yeah, but take a quick little break, and then we'll come back and we'll freaking talk about lots of anime, and ending off with talking about freaking Squid Game. So be right back. All right, freaking man. All right, so we have to start off with Fena Pirate Princess episode 10. So I literally just watched this like right before I recorded, and man, this show just continues to be so good. So this episode, was and obviously every all the shows and stuff I'm gonna talk about as usual, spoilers. Just know. This episode, they finally get to the island where Eden is supposed to be at, but the way it just starts off, where they get to the coordinates, and it's like, okay, this is where where the coordinates point to, whatever, but there's nothing here. There's like a tiny, like little like fraction, like looking tiny piece of land that they could see in the distance. Like, is that it? And then Fena just stands there and she's like, it's coming. And then the ground starts shaking and stuff, whatever. And then a whole freaking island, which now that I'm looking at the promotional art for the series, there's a freaking giant island behind them. I think that's the island that popped up. But anywho, this very big island pops up and from underwater. So they go on land, and this place is freaking beautiful. Like the trees are of so many different lush colors and stuff. It just looks so beautiful overall. So Fena is just following whatever is guiding her, and so they end up going through, like these woods. They end up to I'm trying to think. It was the woods. Then they got to this waterfall, and the twins both went up the waterfall because, okay, clearly maybe the next that they need to go to, whatever, is maybe hidden behind one of the waterfalls. It was. They go through the cave behind the waterfall, and it brings them to this freaking city, this whole freaking city that was on this island. So they get to the city or whatever, and then where they come in at or whatever, they're basically so high up that they're like at the top of like skyscrapers. That's how big these buildings are. So they take this very long staircase all the way down to the ground floor, and they get to this one little building. They go in, and it is just like filled with all this treasure, and it's like more gold than any of them have ever seen. But the intriguing part is that it is gold. It is like different treasures and jewels from across the whole planet, across various time periods. So it's not just, there's some money here from Spain, there's some money here from Africa, from wherever. It is also, these are coins from different time periods, which is so freaking wild. But Fena's thinking, she's like, basically this comes to the conclusion of like, okay, no, the money isn't the thing that she is there for, or whatever. Or that's not what her father wanted her to find. And so, yeah, they had made it into the room and the treasure room. But yeah, so yeah, she kept going. There was like another little area that basically, it was like this basically this kind of like platform area that had two footprints in it or whatever, that basically she like envisioned, or she remembered, I guess, like her mother or whatever had came there at some point. And so basically she started, and she did this dance that she had always done even as a kid, and as she was stepping on certain tiles of the floor, they were lighting up. in order. And so once she finished the dance, all those tiles raised up and it created a stairway. Or no, it created a stairway. Then on the highest pillar, there's like this like freaking insane light. It honestly looked like water above them. And so that's when she realized, like, oh, this is the stairway to Eden. And so she grabs Yukimaru's hand, and they're getting ready to walk up it, and then we cut over and we see the soldiers that have been following them or whatever. They've made their way onto the land, so they're heading towards the cave as well. So very, very interested, very curious to see how this is all going to shake out next episode. But overall, like I said, this episode is just so freaking pretty. Like I said, just like with all the different environments, I love the freaking island coming out the water. Just such a cool episode. So next up, let's see. I want to talk about Sakugan. So Sakugan is a anime that, you know, some of y'all might have already watched. I had did like a little video on it on my YouTube channel the night after I watched it, but I still just wanted to talk about it to make sure it reaches as many ears as possible. So Sakugan was an anime that was nowhere. It wasn't even on my radar. Because I'm pretty sure those of y'all that listened when I did my my fall preview episode a few weeks back, I don't even know if I even gave this thing even the time of day looking at it or whatever. But in hindsight, I regret doing that. But sometimes stuff just misses your eye. But I'm gonna read the synopsis of Sakugan. So one day in the distant future, humans live shoulder to shoulder in colonies separated by rock. Outside the colonies are dangerous, undeveloped. Outside the colonies, a dangerous, undeveloped area called the Labyrinth is expanding. Those who risk their lives to develop the labyrinth, who mark out the undeveloped areas, are known as markers. A young girl named Mimipu, who wants to be a marker one day, and a man, Gagumber, who used to be one. This mismatched father and daughter now take on the labyrinth. If there's no path, dig one. So, the thing that got my attention was literally I was scrolling through Crunchyroll, I believe it was Thursday night, and just seeing, hold on, let me see. Sorry, I'm looking to see like what order Sakugan was on. Okay, so I think I don't remember. I was waiting for something. I was checking to see if something had updated or whatever. But anywho, and I see the cover for this, and I'm like, okay, Sakugan. And something was just like, click on it. So I clicked on it, read the synopsis, and honestly, the thing that honestly got me was father and daughter. Father and daughter take on some unknown thing called the Labyrinth, or explore an unknown area called the Labyrinth. So I'm like, okay. Now since I've watched it, I've actually seen a lot of people make some comparisons that I would not, that I would agree with. So I'm hearing people tossing around some Gurren Lagann vibes, as far as like, like them being in an underground colony, to Made in Abyss, to where you have a young girl going and exploring an area that has some dangers. And then I also saw people talk about another sleeper anime from last year called Decadence. So if you do not know of Decadence, check it out. Because Decadence was definitely an anime that a lot of people, I don't hear hardly anybody talk about decadence, but it was definitely a small one that I truly enjoyed last year. And same thing goes for, hey, if you haven't watched Made in Abyss, go watch that. But so just speaking in general, so like the synopsis said, you follow this little pair, the daughter Mimipu, who is 9 years old, and then the dad, Gagumber. And so she is a super genius. Like, she's 9 years old. She's already finished college, and she is working with her dad in the field that they do, helping to basically assist the markers. So I'm trying to think how to put into words, like, because honestly, really, just the relationship between the dad and the daughter is honestly like the hook that truly got me, because they have a fun back and forth banter between each other, to where, it's just fun. They are both just very fun characters. Like, they're both, joking with each other. They're both like setting traps for each other, because because she keeps on trying to sneak off to try to figure out how to be a marker. He keeps on catching her, vice versa. Just really fun, very cute. But there is also just like some moments where it's like no, it's like, I know you want to do this, but you're just a young girl. You're only freaking 9 years old. I know you're super smart, but you're only 9 years old. Slow down, enjoy being a kid, type of stuff. But that's like I said, that's honestly like the really big hook that like truly got me. And like I said, as well as just like the allure, because I always love like things like this labyrinth in here, the abyss and Made in Abyss, just characters exploring mythical or just like unknown areas of like, okay, we live in this world, we don't know a lot about this area, this thing, but we have people that go out and explore. And like I said, the father-daughter dynamic, as well as just like this mystery area, is what hooked and got me in. Now, speaking a little bit more specifically with the episode, so throughout the episode, like later on in the episode, we kind of get a hint of, okay, it seems like the mom might still be alive. Don't know that with 100% certainty, but there's a mention of like the mom, she left him because of XYZ or whatever. And it has me curious, because there's also this legend of a legendary marker named, what's the marker's name? I think it's like Imipu, something like that. Okay, the name was Urup. But apparently this was like some legendary marker who supposedly some point in the past mapped out the entire labyrinth at some point, and we know that it was a lady that did it. But I don't know, because like I said, because of how the legends is or whatever, they seems like somebody from like a long ago past. But it also kind of, like I said, with me thinking of Made in Abyss vibes, of the mother of the main character of that story was a legendary explorer who is supposedly like at the bottom of the abyss type of thing. So I'm kind of thinking, those two things are kind of sounding similar to me. But yeah, but like I said, just that allure of the exploring the unknown. And so the other thing I loved about too, like the music was good, the visuals look really pretty, and like I said, I just freaking just love the dad and the daughter. Now we meet another dad and daughter duo named, the dad's name was Walsh, and the daughter name was Linda, and they're a duo that go and explore and stuff, whatever. And the daughter, Linda, she's somebody that Mimipu just like really bonds with and just like looks up to, because it's like, okay, there's this older girl that she gets to go and explore the labyrinth and stuff, whatever, and she's doing it with her dad. So it kind of gives Mimi Pooh hope of like, okay, hey, she has somebody to look up to. Like, okay, cool. She's able to do it. I'm able to do it. And Linda's, she's really nice with Mimi Pooh, whatever. They talk, they theorize, they talk about, exploring and all this stuff, whatever. But, that there is something that happens towards the end of the episode where like it kind of takes like a darker turn and things like get serious, and it's like, okay, all right, that was kind of like the other shoe waiting to drop of this series of like, okay, like I said, like the characters like I said, like really fun and lovable, but just knowing, like I said, kind of like Made in Abyss. When you look at the cover for Made in Abyss, and honestly even Decadence, you would think, oh, there's some cutesy, wholesome, family friendly stuff where, and those moments are there, but that's not all it is, And so that was a welcome thing to see. And honestly, but before I go into specific spoilers, I'm going to just say this. If any of this sounds intriguing, go and watch Sakugan. Like I said, first episode came out last week. I'm watching it. It's on Crunchyroll. New episode will be on a couple of days. It's going to be coming out Thursdays. Thursdays or Fridays, I think Thursdays. But yeah, so go check it out. So, now, spoilers for those of you that have seen the episode. Once again, spoiler. Do not listen to this part if you have not watched this episode, because this moment was so worth not knowing it was coming and impactful. So, like I said, Mimi Pooh, she's bonding with Linda and stuff, whatever. And then there's a moment where they find this jewel that you see in the image that has like a map of it or whatever, of the labyrinth supposedly. Well, after they discovered it or whatever, they're figuring stuff out or whatever, a kaiju busts in to the place, and it's like, okay, and that's not, I forgot to mention there's kaiju also, but usually they're like out in the world, not within like the living people colonies. And so so kaiju comes in or whatever, attacks the city and starts attacking the city, but it's making a beeline to our crew that has the little orange gem thing. And so basically, other people coming in helping, they end up tripping up the kaiju to distract it. And so Wash and Linda end up getting their little mech or marker bot, whatever it's called, to go and try to fight the thing. And so this is the moment, like I said, where reality starts to set in for Mimi Pooh, because she's like, hey Linda, like, okay, what do I need to do? And she's like, stay here. And she's like, but I thought we were a team, still, bright-eyed, ignorant to, kind of ignorant to the realities of the world in this situation, until Linda's like, no, you are a child, stay here with your dad. And then her dad says the same thing. He's like, yes, Mimi Pooh, your dad is the best person that you need to be with right now. And so then we get to one of the soul-crushing moment. So as Wash and Linda are getting ready to ride off into battle, they Wash has a moment where he tells Linda, he's like, you have really gone. And it kind of calls back, because earlier Wash and Gagamba have a conversation earlier, because Wash is like, hey man, how are you able to allow your daughter to go out into this craziness? And Wash is like, I don't allow it. I never allowed it. But he's like, as a parent, as a dad, sometimes all you can do is just be there to support your kid, whether it be because basically you just never know when the moment for them to basically to like grow up or to just start doing certain things is going to come up. You just never know when that moment's going to come, and just whenever, it might be soon, it might be years later, but just be ready, or just be aware of that moment and support them. And so Wash tells his daughter, like, hey, you've really grown up. I'm proud of you. And then we get a moment where she freaking smiles and does her little laugh like she. And all of a sudden it's just like the blurred, faded lines. Another kaiju broke into the colony and smacked right into their little bot like a meteor into the ground. Explosion, they're both instantly killed. Reality has busted into the colony. Mimi Pooh, she's traumatized from this, just seeing everything. And so Gagumber takes her by the hand. He's running. He's about to take her, to some underground bunker or something. And then she has a moment where she asks him, she's like, even with how horrible all this stuff is going, she said that she still wants to go explore. And she's like, is something wrong with me? Am I broken? Is something wrong with me for wanting to go and to still go out and see this world? And then Gagumber has that flashback of that conversation he had with Walsh. And he's like, okay. He takes her back to their little like warehouse thing, or whatever. And he's like, I'm still. Let me see, how did he phrase it? Sorry, hold on, let me see if I can find it real quick. Cause I just really enjoyed how he was saying, just like that. That's why I'm always trying to keep you out of trouble and stuff. But sorry, I'm trying to see if I can find it. Cause I just really just loved this moment. Cause they're running off, and he's like, I think I'm a lousy dad. If I wasn't, I'd understand what the hell it means to be a dad. I'm supposed to place my trust in you, send you away with nothing but my trust. Don't be stupid. There's no way in hell I can do that, because you're still just a child. You're still my little kid. And that's why. And then, I've made up my mind that I'm going to go with you all the way there and watch over you on your journey, as we get revealed that he has his own marker bot. And he says it's time for a father-daughter journey to begin. And that's where the freaking episode ends. Yeah, man. Honestly, I cannot lie. Like that whole, like I said, like the whole dynamic between them was so awesome. But like hearing him say that speech to his kid at the end, like it just really hit me. Just being honest, because especially, me being a father of 5 myself, I have twin daughters. I have, Vash is still very small. Just all this stuff. Just really hit home for me, man. Just being honest. And I'm just excited that I gave this anime a chance, and that I'm just curious to see just to see like where things is gonna go from here. Because it's looking pretty wild, pretty interesting, like I said, and I forgot to mention that that her dad, like I said, that in the synopsis said that he was a former marker himself. But his nickname or his epithet was Gale Force Gagumber. So I want to know what the Gale Force part means. So, but no. But yeah, that's it for Sakugan. The rest of these, I'm gonna kind of just give like quick thoughts on some of the rest of these. So, Platinum End, that's the anime from the creator of Death Note. Enjoyed the first episode, but I don't know. It might not necessarily be like nothing I'm gonna talk about like every week type of thing. Might be something I just kind of just watch on my own time. But that first episode was pretty interesting. Just learning just like how the world and how the powers and stuff works with him getting his freaking angel wings and this freaking angel arrows that can make people fall in love with you when they can kill you. All this stuff. It was. it was some crazy stuff going on, but I definitely can see some of the Death Note DNA there. But like I said, don't have too much else to say about it or whatever. I just interested in checking it out, keeping up with it or whatever, at least for the time being. Jobless Reincarnation, episodes 12 and 13. So, enjoyed both of them. I enjoyed, that first episode where, I guess, we kind of get to see like a little bit of like how everybody is growing and stuff, because it's been a year or something has passed since they've been on this journey with that one guy, the super spurred person, and just seeing like Eris is getting stronger and stuff, and of course the freaking moment where Rudis, where he meets the god figure or whatever again. He tells him like, hey, take some food into this alley and you'll just know. And he ends up giving the food to, ends up being a demon lord of some sort or whatever, demon empress, whatever. And her gift to him, she gives him one of her eyes, or some, I don't know if it's one of her eyes or a demon eye or whatever, but the eye now gives him the ability of foresight. And so the more he trains it, the farther into the future he can see. So right now he can only see maybe like a couple seconds into the future, but it was wild. Just her just implanting the freaking eye in him or whatever. I'm curious to see like how or when she's gonna come back into the picture, because we know she is again. But that was really cool, as well as like the conversation that Rudy had with the spurred dude, Spurred, whatever his name is. And because when Rudy was about to sneak out to basically go to sell his staff, and just like that reality check that they had, talking of like, hey, you saying that you're doing this so they won't create friction in the group and yada yada yada. He's like, but basically if you sell that spear or your staff that Eris had custom made for you, that's gonna break her. So anyway, they come to agreement that they're gonna work together on getting him smuggled to the mainland where they need to go. And luckily they're getting help from somebody that Rudy happened to save after he just got his new eye. And so in episode 13, that kind of like more focused on Roxy, who is also in town, because it was funny because like the first episode, we saw her in passing or in the background a couple times, and now we see the reverse of why she was doing that and stuff, or why she was in those areas at those times. So I'm just like I'm really hopeful that they do get to reconnect, and it's not gonna be like, oh, they go this whole time being in town without seeing each other or whatever. But man, that one chick that's in Roxy's party, the one that's just like sleeping with everybody, I'm like, yo, you is really wilding out here. Just, freaking that one time when freaking Roxy came in, she had freaking 5 dudes in the room. It's like, yo, you really living your best life, just like no cares given, just because one of the dudes in their party was like, man, she gonna end up pregnant. But anywho, Jobless Reincarnation, still enjoying it or whatever. And I'm curious about it, because freaking the end of it, freaking Rudy getting captured by the beast person thing, or whatever. And I always love when characters just show up, or whatever, and they had like some crazy ability where he freaking roared, and it did something to Rudy's body to where he just like fell over. He's still conscious, but he can't do that. Like, his body is like paralyzed basically. But yeah, just really curious to keep up with that. Mieruko-chan episodes 1 and 2. To be honest, especially because I just watched episode 2 right before I recorded this as well, and I don't know. It's okay. I guess is the best way I can say. It's okay, but I don't think this is gonna be nothing worth me talking about every week. I think this is just gonna be something to where I'll watch, as the episodes drop, or honestly, there might come a point where, hey, if I have to, let it just build up for a few episodes or to the end of the season, and then just binging it at the end, so be it. But I don't know, because like I said, like the first episode of like the first introduction of like, oh, okay, this is kind of, funny in some ways, but also kind of chilling in other ways of like, okay, she's starting to see these different spirits everywhere and stuff, but now it's like, okay, they're just showing up everywhere. They're doing perv stuff. They're, squeezing on her classmates' boobs and groping and all this stuff, whatever. And it's like, okay, like I said, it's like, okay, you know, just some moments of like unsettlingness, but I think they're doing it too much to where it's starting to lose its effect already, and we're only on episode 2. Like I said, like episode 1 is like, okay, the first time you were doing it a few times here and there at the bus stop, at the school, so on and so forth. When she was in bed, okay, had a little bit of impact or whatever, but them doing it all throughout the freaking episode, it was like, okay, so we'll see. Like I said, I'm not dropping it or whatever, but like I said, it's just definitely probably nothing I'm gonna be just talking about week to week for sure. Not on here. Like I said, if you said I just watch on my own time, you might not hear me talk about it again until the end of the season, but we'll see. So next up, let's see, 86. So episodes 12 and 13. So just real quick, so this kind of kicked off with, I'm trying to think, did I talk about episode 12? I couldn't have. No, I couldn't have. But basically, like things picking back up, and we're finding out, okay, everybody from that group is okay, but and they got picked up by these people from this other nation, and so basically over these couple episodes, we're seeing them kind of like getting integrated into like a normal society. So they're having like some of them having like regular day jobs and stuff, just finding other hobbies and different things to do. And so, just kind of just interesting. They got taken in by like one of like the heads of that government or whatever, and living with him and his daughter and stuff. But yeah, like I said, I'm enjoying. I'm enjoying the setup of it so far. Especially I like the little girl that's living with the family too. Kind of find out that she is like royalty in the country that originally created the I can't think of the robot things. She's from that country or whatever, but the people, the kids, or they're like, hey, we're definitely not blaming you because they're like, you're how old were you 10 years ago when all this kind of kicked off or whatever. And so yeah, but kind of find out, apparently her family, her bloodline, they have the ability, like her eyes, she can see into the past and the future, I think, or present, I think. And so that's how like she was able to see freaking Shin's whole backstory with what happened with his brother, why he has the scar. And that's how she was also able to find out, because so she wants them to help her to stop. So I guess like her personal knight or whatever, he was the one that launched that long range attack at the end of the previous story arc, whatever, or season. And so Shin and crew, whatever, they're heading back out to the battlefield because they basically realized like, okay, we want to fight. Like, okay, hey, we had a little bit of time, some weeks, however long they've been there, whatever, about having this normal life, but it's like, okay, we've gotten too comfortable. It's time for us to get back out there. But the main guy, he makes them go through training to become officers because he's like, okay, for whenever the day comes and the war is over, this will give y'all more opportunities in life, once we're on the other side of this thing, whatever. So, but anyway, so that was pretty cool. Like I said, just seeing and being back in that. Let's see. My Senpai is Annoying, episode 1. So this is one I also just watched earlier today, and I like it. I enjoyed it. So let me see if I can find. Shoot, sorry, I thought I had this pulled up already. Hold on real quick. Okay, so the synopsis for this is Futaba Igarashi, a diminutive and scrappy office worker who is often mistaken for a child because she is very tiny, constantly complains about her big and boisterous coworker, Harumi Takeda, who is like her boss, whatever. However, it is clear that Futaba's friends and coworkers that she secretly harbors feelings. It's clear to her coworkers that she secretly harbors feelings for Takeda that she struggles to come to terms with. So this is a romance, rom-com, romantic comedy slice of life series that I've always glance over at the manga every time I like see it at the store or whatever, but I never really like read it or whatever. I don't know, like I said, just when I read the synopsis or like little tidbits about it, I was like, I don't know. But I watched it and I enjoyed this first episode. Like I said, it had like a good mix of like wholesomeness and camaraderie, and I enjoy the fact that like it's, even though the main character, she looks like a child, she's still a freaking whole grown woman, out here, whatever. But I just enjoy her working dynamic with Takeda, and yeah, just how he is there. He supports her. He is her backup and things of that nature. He looks out for her, and like I said, I don't really have just too much I want to say about it. But like I said, just really enjoy just some nice wholesome stuff. Blue Period episode 1. I liked it. I'm not fully hooked in it yet. Honestly, I think I might rewatch because I don't know. I feel like I missed something or whatever. But this is the anime about art. So like I said, I don't have too much to say about it or whatever. But I enjoyed the first episode and looking forward to see like how things go from here. That's really all I gotta say to touch on that. And What If? So spoilers for What If, the Disney Marvel series, animated series. I really enjoyed how this all came full circle, how everything kind of wrapped up or wraps back around to where pretty much all of the main characters from each of the episodes or somehow they all or something from each of the episodes got pulled in or whatever. So you had Captain Carter, you had Party Thor, you had Star-Lord T'Challa, you had Killmonger Black Panther, who else? I feel like it was somebody else, but anywho, people from Gamora, had Gamora come in and all this stuff, whatever, and just like seeing them all like fighting Ultron and going through all these different dimensions during the fight, it just looked so freaking cool. And just like how it all just like wrapped up, even with them bringing in like the zombie Scarlet Witch for a moment to try to distract him or hold him at bay, and then Doctor Strange, coming in to play and all that stuff. But and then of course it freaking being freaking Hawkeye's arrow that had the scientist virus or whatever on it is what was like the final nail in the coffin of at least like slowing him down a bit before they trapped him and Killmonger in like a little pocket dimension, because of course Killmonger, man of opportunities, when they finally beat Ultron, everybody was too lax. They let Killmonger analyze stuff, whatever. He ends up getting the freaking armor with the Infinity Stones and stuff, whatever. And so he's about to freaking just wreck shop on everything. But like I said, they end up stopping and locking him in Ultron, or the scientist in the Ultron body, in this little pocket dimension that the Doctor Strange is just going to watch over, and things of that nature. So I'm gonna take a quick little break, and then we'll kind of come back and talk about Squid Game. So be right back. All right, so back at it real quick. Just want to mention real quick. So I'm about to talk about Squid Game, and of course it's going to be full spoilers all around, and I am joined by a surprise guest. You will not see her on camera, but you will hear her voice. Welcome to the podcast. My wife, Faith. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
So my wife, she had watched Squid Game before me. She kind of abandoned me in the middle of the night and just
I was up all night.
Yeah. So I knew of Squid Game like earlier in the day before she watched it, but I knew of the name. It wasn't until I saw her actually watching it, because literally when I say it was middle of the night one night, it was literally middle of the night. I wake up, I see some crazy stuff going on the TV. I'm like, what is you watching?
It's like 3 a.m.
Yeah, it was like 3 a.m. I'm like, what is you watching? She's like, oh, I'm watching Squid Game. I'm like, okay. Like I said, I had heard the name earlier in the day, whatever. But then of course she showed me the infamous red light, green light scene. So I'm like, okay. And so I was thinking about watching it at some point or whatever. But honestly, it wasn't gonna be a priority for me. But it blew up. Everybody and their mama was talking about Squid Game. Even my kids know what Squid Game is, because they was talking about, oh yeah, everybody at school is talking about it. And keep in mind, my kids are like 6th grade and younger, but everybody at the freaking elementary school, even though what Squid Game is or whatever, but they said it was playing red light, green light at school. Anywho, so I'm like, okay, I need to at least see what's going on. So that's what I did over this past weekend. I pretty much just sacrificed some late nights, some crazy times.
You finally watched it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Otherwise, hey, I'm not gonna be talking about it if I ain't watch it.
It's so bad that they have a game.
See, I didn't even know that.
I forgot to tell you about it. I just downloaded it.
So apparently, there's a Squid Game mobile game that my wife just showed me. But yeah. So I guess I'll say. Well, I guess. I'm trying to think. I guess for if somebody happens to stumble across this deep into the podcast episode and you don't know what Squid Game is, I guess just a brief little general synopsis on it or whatever is basically it's about all these different people that are in various forms of debt. And so they get offered this opportunity to play what basically ends up being a bunch of games from that a lot of people play in their childhood, like red light, green light, for a opportunity to win a ton of money. But they find out very quickly that it's basically a death game, to where you might think, oh, how can you die from red light, green light? For example, red light, green light, they catch you still moving after they say red light, they literally shoot you dead. And so with each person that dies, the amount of money accumulates and becomes more and more and more. So that's the general premise of Squid Game. So overall, I'm going to let my wife speak real quick. So what did you think of Squid Game?
That was awesome. It was good. It was a little gory, but it was really good. It kept my attention.
Yeah. Same here. Yeah, it was...
That old guy, Savage.
Yes.
He was my favorite. He was savage.
Yes, the fact that the old guy who
had dementia,
but I loved, because I'm like, oh, this sweet old man, he's trying, he's doing his best. And the fact that at the freaking end of the freaking series, you find out oh, no, he is the guy that was behind all of it. He's just an old man who has more money than he knows what to do with, and even though he really does have a brain tumor or whatever, and so he's just okay, he's on a ticking schedule or whatever. So he basically just F it, we just gonna go out, in style. And so yeah, so it was just crazy just seeing them go through all these different games. And honestly, kind of thinking back in hindsight, it was kind of suspicious that he was number one.
Right.
It's like now thinking back, and it's like okay, the guy that was behind it was number one. Versus like, oh, he just happened to be, maybe like, no, number 232. It's like, no, he was number one.
You saw how excited he was to play red light, green light, and like even after the person got shot, he's still running.
Yes,
just like, bro.
Yes. And so I'm trying to think which of the games do you think or what were some of like the standout ones that you was like, man, this is some super wild stuff.
Oh, that tug of war was crazy.
Yeah.
Cause I was like, oh my god, like all the dudes on that one team, and they got rid of the girl, and then they were
she
like,
came back with.
Oh, she's a. I'll get to her in a second. But tug of war was pretty savage. No, when they had to do the marble game, that was rough. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm all for female empowerment, female characters. So when the other girl came into it, I was like, yeah, they about to be badass. They about to come in and do some great stuff. And they were partners. I'm not gonna lie, I cried. I cried with her, the Arab dude, and all of them. I was just like,
yeah, because that was the part that made it super suck because they were like, hey, everybody pair up. So, okay, cool. I'm gonna pair up with my buddy, with my friend. That one couple that was a husband and wife duo.
If we had to went to something like that and we got a chance to get out and one of us was going back, I'm not going back. Because you saw what happened with him. He couldn't even take that. That was tough.
And but yeah, that was just like wild when they was like, okay, we're gonna play marbles. Everybody's like, oh, okay, marbles, cool. And then it was like, you're gonna play against your partner, and it's like, what? And yeah, that what was his name? Ali, the Arab. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, like that dude did him so freaking dirty. Just the fact of like he sent him on this wild goose chase. Like, oh, hey, go scout out the other teams because I'm pretty sure that they're gonna do like another round of teams and stuff, whatever. And come to find out, he freaking swished out the dude's little marble bag with rocks and stuff. Had the dude running around with a bag of rocks around his neck, thinking he got his marbles nice and safe. And yeah, so and that just sucked in general too, because of the fact of like unlike some of the other characters to where Vash, what are you doing? Unlike some of the other characters to where it was like okay, the main character, he was like, okay, I'm gonna go, help the girl's brother. I'm gonna go help his friend that double crossed him. Go help his friend's mom and all this stuff, whatever. Ali, like his wife and kid, will never know what happened because he sent them away, which that was wild. When he was like arguing with his boss, like, hey, pay me. I've been here for 6 months. Pay me whatever. And they tussled, then his boss's hand got caught in that machine, and
he got them out of there. They got out of there.
Yeah, that is true. But yeah, it was. I think for me, I think one of the wildest ones for me was the glass. Was them like trying to figure out like which is which, and the fact of like when like that moment when the main character, he kept on hesitating. It was just down to being number one or being first place or last place. And he was about to pick first place, but then that one dude was like, I've always been a coward. Hey, at least let me have this one opportunity to take control of my life and da. Not knowing that it was like, well, the order of the vest is the order of the game, and then finding out what the game is, he was like, he just got screwed out the gate. So
I always thought it was funny when the dude that was the glass maker, he knew, like he kind of knew.
Yes.
And they was like, why didn't you help? He was like, I wanted to get rid of some people. It's like, that's.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, that whole game was just so wild, just because it was like okay, like that one dude that went fast and he was like, oh, boom, 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 and he made it like a few, but then he died on that next one. Then the next person that went was like,
I forgot.
He was like, does anybody remember like which ones he stepped on? And then that lady behind him was like, yeah, he went left, and he was like, are you sure? And she's like, Yeah, I'm pretty sure. He went left and that glass shattered and he died.
I'd have been mad.
I'm like, man,
I'm hunting you.
yeah. And so, but yeah, that one, and then like you said with the glassmaker dude, like the friend just like pushed him. Like I'm like, y'all are like one tile away from being done, and it's like that the dude didn't have two marbles, but for another test, but that's that like from basically from the marble game going on, like that dude's friend, he just like still like it was like okay, he double crossed him, he pushed the
Actually, if
dude,
you want
he
to
killed the old
girl.
girl.
Actually, if you want to think about it like this. Remember the game where they had the cookie? They scratched up the cookie.
Yeah,
The
true.
friend. That's when he
That was like
started
the
to
first
really.
sign because he was kind of like, because even when the main character was like oh I'll go with the umbrella, and the guy was he almost told him, he was like, never mind, nothing. And so which that was just funny, just seeing everybody just being like licking
Oh, I would have
the
been
crack or whatever.
definitely.
When so that was just kind of funny. But
I was kind of mad that the cop got shot by his brother. I was like, damn. He was
oh
so
man,
close.
yeah, that was a whole other like side storyline of like this cop that followed them onto the island, and just like him like slowly infiltrating to where it was like, okay, he started as like one of the little grunts, then he moved up higher level, like taking over disguises and stuff to all those like the wealthy dudes, they like the like different like little animal masks and stuff, whatever.
Yeah, that.
Was wild. That one big dude was like you know, uh,
I like you. I was
yeah.
like,
I was
oh.
like,
You know, I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I was just like, I felt like that they were trying to show like, the like high people in America being
or in the world in
the
general.
world, yeah, in the world being into some. I was like, what if that is really happening somewhere in the world? That wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. But yeah, this whole thing, and it's kind of funny, like going back to like the beginning with like the old guy, to where he was the last one that got to make the choice to make the tiebreaker of like, okay, do we continue? Do we go home? And he actually picked no.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny, like in hindsight, because of the fact that
knew.
he's the one in charge, and so it was like, oh, and that kind of gave them another reason to trust him, of like, oh, well, he chose not to continue, and
He knew
stuff,
they was gonna come
whatever.
back.
Oh yeah, especially because like someone when they got back out there, it was like, okay,
I wonder because I thought it was interesting. He was like 200 and something came back, and 100 and something didn't. He was like, watch those people that didn't come back.
yeah,
Like, why y'all gotta watch them? They just didn't come back. But
yeah, but overall, I enjoyed it. It was wild. I am a little pissed. I'm like, dude, don't freaking go back for another game. Cause like he made it out. He freaking changed his hair. Granted, he went like a whole year without touching the money, just
I thought that was
because.
interesting.
Yeah, which I can see why though, because the main reasons why you went through all this was like to, obviously his daughter, but also like helping out his mom. But the fact that his mom, he got back and his mom is just dead
Yeah.
and stuff. So
I did like that he got the little boy out of that system. Out the
Yes.
system went and gave it to the old lady. It was like, even though she lost her son, she got another one.
Yeah.
And all that money.
Yes, I did appreciate that as well. Of like, yeah, like him doing that and connecting them two together to where it's like, okay, y'all both at least have somebody and stuff. But yeah, but like, I'm like, man, like go take care of your daughter, get that stuff situated first. Then if you want to go play a game, go play a game. But it's like you literally about to go see your daughter. Now you like, nah, I'm gonna go back and play another game. But
Your
Vash.
monster's active. He's gone.
But yeah, Squid Game, cool. I don't know if I could go through watching another season of that.
I'm ready.
Siege, yeah. See that's why we're different. I'm like, nope. She's like, yes.
I am.
So
I was mad it ended like that. I was like, oh You know I hate endings.
So interesting thing that I learned. So the girl, the main girl that lasted to the end or whatever. This is her first time doing a movie.
Yeah, I saw that. She's like a model or something.
Yeah. She's a well known. She's a well known Korean model and stuff. But yeah, Squid Game is her first acting role and stuff. So
I thought it was interesting. I don't know if you saw the little clip of the writer was saying like he's been trying to get that movie going.
Yeah, for like 10 years. Yeah, I saw that.
I was like, that movie, it was way before its time.
Yeah, but yeah, I think Squid Game was cool. But you have any other parting thoughts on Squid Game?
Hurry up with season 2.
Y'all can take your time. I'm
Hurry up with season 2 for real.
I'm not in any rush for
I'm gonna have to go see about some more Japanese movies because if they doing it like that over there.
Yeah. Well, I know somebody I follow over on Blanime podcast, Nay. She be watching a lot of because this is Korean, so she be watching a lot of Korean stuff, and I heard they be having like a lot of like especially like good like horror stuff and different stuff like that. So so you might find something
like the Attack on Titan live action. I'll pass. I'm gonna get back to the Avengers.
Alrighty.
Finish that. I still haven't finished it. So.
All right. Say it again.
Oh, well, it's nice chatting with y'all. Maybe I'll do another feature one day. Maybe I'll show my face. Nah. But bye, y'all.
But yeah, so thank you to my wife again. So let's go ahead and like round out the show. So, as always, thank you again for tuning in to Dad Needs to Talk podcast. Thanks to my awesome wife for her guest appearance to talk about Squid Game. Make sure y'all go and follow her shop. I know I've talked about it in the past where she makes jewelry from crystal stones. Actually, see if I can get this on camera. She had made this custom piece for me. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see in the camera, but yeah, she made this for me, whatever. So go check out Raining Crystals on Instagram, and or if you're interested, if you can't find her, just hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, whatever, and I can point you in the right direction. But yeah, go check her out. Go, either buy yourself some jewelry, buy something for a loved one. She does bracelets, necklaces. I think she's about to start doing waist beads as well. So go check her out for all your jewelry needs. Once again, that's Raining Crystals on Instagram. But yeah, as always, thanks to Rifty Beats for the music. And yeah, make sure to follow me on all socials, at Dad Needs to Talk on Twitter, Dad Needs to Talk podcast on Instagram. Go to dadneedstotalk.com, which is the central hub for everything that I do. And like I said, make sure if you're not subscribed already to the podcast, subscribe to it on whatever streaming service of your choice: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Pandora, wherever you can listen to a podcast. You should be able to find me. And make sure you're subscribe to the podcast on YouTube as well. And so, yeah, with that, I am heading off. It's freaking 12:30 a.m. So another late nighter, but it's all good. It was fun. Lots of fun stuff to talk about today. And yeah, y'all have an awesome week. As always, make sure to treat yourself. Buy some manga, read some manga, watch some anime and TV, play some video games, and live your life. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. Y'all be easy. Bye and peace.